Okay. Oh my gosh, I started it.
Okay.
Okay. Compose. I'll edit this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bite Podcast with Raven and Ree. I'm your host, Raven,
I'm your host, Ree.
and this is our Twilight pilot episode.
Yay!
This is honestly really surreal. This is like even happening right now.
It's happening. We're doing it.
Honestly, I want to say that it happened pretty quickly.
It really did. I think you came to me with the idea about a month ago when I was on live on TikTok earlier. I was talking about it. I was like, yeah, we talked about this probably a month ago, and then 2 weeks ago we had our first meeting,
Yeah.
and here we are.
It was pretty quick. I think it's because after I got the interview with NBC, she had asked me what's next for you, and I was like, in my head I was like, okay, well, I'm still gonna teach. Like, I don't know if this is really gonna lead to anything like where I'm like this world famous person, right? Like, I don't think that's gonna happen. But I was like, I really do want to do something with this platform I've been given,
Yeah.
because I was like, I not that I don't like just doing TikTok, but I was like, I feel like I need more. Like, I feel like I need to take this somewhere. So I guess that's where I kind of came to you and was like, hey, because I really liked how you would make your commentary, right? Like, you would do your commentary on like books and all that, and I was like, I think that's what first like sparked my interest in having you as a co-host.
Oh my god, when I got the DM, I was low-key fangirling because I was like, oh my god! Like when you first followed me and we became friends, I was fangirling. I was like, oh my god, Raven just followed me. And then I got the DM from you and I was like, oh, she wants to make a podcast and have me as a co-host? Like what? And like, oh my god, I was immediately like, that sounds so much fun. Like oh,
I was like, well, I feel like I just needed to talk about Twilight with people because no one here at my house, well, I guess my sisters like Twilight, but they don't like it as much as me. And my husband's like already annoyed. And then like, so I was like, I need someone to talk about these Twilight things with, because there are so many things that I felt like I needed to like talk about. And I just thought that this podcast would be a great idea. And then we had our meeting, and then everything just like,
fell through.
yeah, it fell through, and then we got our podcast art, which is so good.
Oh, good. Oh my God. If y'all haven't checked out the Instagram or the TikTok, the Twitter, head on over there.
Okay, so I guess we should talk about how each of us kind of came to become Twi talkers. I guess is what we're calling it. Um, so mine started back in, well, I guess, well, I'm a teacher, right? So all of my students were on TikTok, and I was so annoyed because they would TikTok in class, they would TikTok during lunch, and all these things, and it was just like the most annoying thing ever. And then they convinced me to get TikTok, so I got TikTok, but for a while I was just on it for comedy, and then I never really saw any Twilight related stuff come up until Twain. I think his name is Twains.
Twains. Oh my God. Yes.
He posted the dance to Bella's lullaby. And I was like, that is so funny. But I was like, I'm not gonna dance to that. I'm a teacher. That's a weird. So so that's the first time I ever really saw Twilight. And then I think I had maybe saw one person post a deleted scene. And then I was watching Twilight and I saw a deleted scene, and I had never seen it before. And I thought I was having like a fever dream. I really did. I was like, I don't know what is happening right now because I've never seen this before. Then I posted that video and it took off. And then people were just requesting for me to put more. So I just put all of the deleted scenes on TikTok. And then I guess that kind of turned into me posting more like meme like videos, kind of going with trends that I saw. Anytime a trend would pop up, I'd be like, how can I turn this into Twilight? That's
Yeah.
that was like a really big thing for me too, like turning trends I saw on TikTok into Twilight. And I remember like saving videos and screenshotting like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And then slowly that turned into me making more videos with my face in it, because for a while I didn't put my face in it a lot. It was just like Twilight, and I was like behind it, right?
Yeah.
And then I got that interview, and things kind of like took off from there. I didn't even think that I would be. I mean, I remember posting like a video when that I posted that first deleted scene, like, thank you guys for 100 followers. Posting that now because I was like so excited that I had 100 followers, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And then like overnight, it was literally overnight that it kind of took off, and I'm at like 21.
You're at like 20. I think I saw you're almost at 22K.
That's my okay. My goal is 22K only because I think like I'm 22. I think having 22K followers would be like a perfect match. So my goal is 22. I think I'm at like 21 and a half or something like that.
Yeah.
But that kind of has, well, not that it stopped for a while, but around the time of my birthday, I was shadow banned for a long time.
Oh, yeah. TikTok, man, that algorithm, the shadow banning, it's really making it difficult now sometimes.
Really is. And because like I was still getting like I guess traffic to my page, but it was so slow. And and people were spam liking all of my stuff, and I didn't even correlate the, oh my gosh, the spam like to the shadow ban. I didn't even think about that until like later when I was like, oh, they think I'm hiring robots.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. You want to talk about a little about how you got started? Because I remember seeing your videos probably like in probably towards the middle of quarantine when I think I maybe saw your video to my list rankings, and that's when I kind of like were like, oh, this girl seems super cool, and that's when I followed you or something like that. We had talked, like replied back and forth to each other a couple times.
Yeah, so my thing with TikTok was kind of like start out with you with how my friends were on TikTok, and I knew about TikTok because I knew it used to be Musically. And I had deleted the app, ages ago, right before Musically had transitioned into TikTok. And I never felt like downloading it. I was like, why does this just seem like Vine 2.0?
Hmm.
And then my friends were like, Rihanna, you have to get a TikTok so I can send you these. And because they were sending them through Snapchat, and they're like, just get one so we can just follow each other and I can send you it through DMs. I was like, okay. And so then I did it, and then it was again like for comedy, and started with the whole just swiping through the For You page. If I saw something funny, I liked it, or I'd send it to my friends. And then the first video I posted was, it wasn't even really, anything. It was during Hurricane Dorian, because I live in the South, and I had been evacuated from campus for the week because there was the possibility of Dorian coming straight on to where I go to school. And so I was home for the week, and then I posted like a video, and it kind of got like, I think 70K views, and I had gone followed over, or just under 100 followers, and I was like, people followed me for this. And then I had no interest in making any more. And then I would make like a few like playful ones for like my friends, and then I would delete them later on because I was like, no, this is stupid. Like, I no. And then at the beginning of the year, I was going through some stuff, and then I was on TikTok like a lot for like, trying to like get my mind off things, which really helped. And then I think my For You page, I saw a video of it was a Twilight video, and I had not seen a Twilight video on TikTok yet. I was already in the Renaissance on Tumblr. I had been running a blog on Tumblr since September of 2019. And so I was like on there for like the memes and the headcanons and the blurbs, and I hadn't seen anything on TikTok yet until I think it was right before, it was like March, because it was right at the start prime of quarantine when I was going through midterms for spring semester. And I posted this video because the popular trend at the time was what such and such thing says about you. So like,
Yeah.
what your thing says about you. And that was a trend. I was like, okay, maybe I hadn't seen anybody do one for like a Twilight one. So I thought, it just popped in my head out of the blue at like 3 a.m, like what your favorite popular song from the Twilight Saga says about you. And I did the it was playful. I didn't even think much of it. And then I posted it, and within the first 10 minutes, my notifications kept going off, and I was getting like all these comments of people asking, what about Rosalind? What about Eyes on Fire? Shout out to at Mackie Clay, because she had commented on there. She was like, what about Eyes on Fire? That's my Bad Bee anthem. And I was like, okay, I have to do another one. Like, and people were in the comments like, can you please do this song? Like, this is so funny. I want to see what you think of this song. So it just took off from there, because then I had people asking me to do this song, and I think I had about 8 parts to it, doing just because I could only fit like through 4 or 5 songs in each part. And
I think the Twilight Saga is like a huge, the soundtrack specifically, I think gets a lot of traffic for some reason, because, well, not for some reason, because it's like iconic, you know? So it's like everyone loves it.
yeah, and some of the songs I hadn't listened to in a long time also, so I had to like go back and re-listen to like gather, okay, what can I say about this song, that like if this is their favorite song. And then I started just making other ones with that same trend. I made like what your favorite female character from the Twilight Saga says about you, and then I did the males, and I tried doing a couple of Harry Potter ones, and a couple of my Harry Potter ones did do good, but I never like stuck with just doing Harry Potter.
Mhm.
I just mainly did Twilight. And then at the end of April was when Stephanie Meyer released the countdown. I had seen a picture on Instagram of someone saying, "What is this?" And I was like, "What the heck?" So I like screen recorded myself going on to this website, and I see the countdown. I'm like, does anybody else know that this is happening? Nobody on Tumblr had talked about it, and then I didn't see anybody on TikTok say anything about it. So I made a video, and I was like, okay, listen guys, breaking news, Stephanie Meyer has released this mysterious countdown on her website. It's counting down to 4 days.
Video of yours too.
I had the blonde at the time. So, like sometimes I go back and I rewatch it. I'm like, oh my God, me with the blonde hair. And,
Friends, that's what was happening.
yeah. So, and it got a lot of attention, and people were putting their theories. And because I had said at the end of my, video, I was all like, could this be Midnight Sun? Is it the Jacob Nessie story? Is it a Leah Clearwater story? Because I knew that those 3 were like the main 3. And then people in the comments were all like, I really hope it's the host, which I'm so sorry, host fans, because I know, I can imagine how, you know, you're hoping it's this book and then it's not. And
Mayor. We're so sorry, Mayor.
yeah, I'm so sorry, Mayor. So, and then
Remember when, I think I remember seeing that video of yours too, and I remember sending it to my friend, my friend Holly, love her so much. And I remember being like, what is this? And we were both like texting back and forth, like, what do you think this is? And then every day we would like send each other reminders like, oh, so and so, like this many days. And then when she finally announced it, we were like, what the heck? It was crazy.
it was so crazy. And Mackie and I, because Mackie and I had, by now, we had been following each other. We were DMing like every day, just talking about Twilight, because Mackie was like the first Twilight buddy I had made on TikTok, and we could just like talk about Twilight 24/7. I was like, oh my God, I love this. And we were Snapchatting. Like, we both woke up, because the countdown was gonna end at 8:30 my time, but that was like 7 or 5 her time, 6 her time, and then, you know, it was like 5 a.m. on the West Coast, and we were Snapchatting back and forth, and I was also kind of recording my reaction, because I just had a feeling. I was like, you know, maybe it's Midnight Sun, who knows? And then it was, and I remember just bursting out. I was like, oh my God, it's finally here. The wait is over. And that video, that countdown video that I made, I didn't know about this until early August that an Instagram page had a popular Twilight Instagram page had posted my video on there, and I was like, oh my god! I was just scrolling and I see myself, and I'm like,
You think it's so funny too because I'd never like you know how YouTube people do like TikTok compilations,
yeah,
right? Well, I remember like going through them and I always thought like you've made it once you're in a Twilight TikTok compilation on YouTube. So then I like every time one pops up in my feed, I like go and then I like search for my videos. And I think I'm in like two or three and I'm just like, it makes me so happy. Like, yay, I love that. And then I'll go comment like, I'm the one who did this video.
hey yo, that's me. Follow me on this.
So yeah, I think that after I quarantine, I think really started the Twilight TikTok renaissance because, like you had said, that previously was happening on Tumblr, and I've never really been like a big thing. Like I've never really like Tumblr wasn't my thing.
Tumblr was so I believe because my friend Clarissa, shout out to Clarissa if you're listening. She's like my one friend from here back at home that is also like very obsessed with Twilight, and she had told me about like, yo, the Renaissance on Tumblr is popping off right now, and I was like, what? And she's all like, yeah, like there's like a very popular side of Twilight on Tumblr right now, and I was like, okay, I have to like check this out. So I made a blog, and I think I had made a blog for a while, but I didn't actually go on there. And then I made a side blog, and then that's where I would go and I would follow like Twilight accounts, and I would just lurk and like reblog and like send memes to her, and that's and then I started actually like posting like some stuff on there. I kind of like strayed away from Tumblr. I've mainly been on TikTok now, but yeah, the Tumblr side was very low key, and then when it started getting more popular with like Instagram and Twitter, then it was like everybody was like talking on Twilight. I
Yeah,
saw like popular like other accounts that weren't even related to Twilight were talking about it. Like there was that one tweet, like, what is the greatest baseball movie of all time? And it was that scene in Twilight. No.
and you know what's crazy because we haven't talked about it yet, but the reason that we're choosing Monday, October 5th, to I guess kind of air our pilot episode is because on Monday, October 5th, 2020, will be the 15-year anniversary of the release date of Twilight.
I was 6 years old. I was six.
How old was I?
I think you were seven. I think you're a year older than me.
Yeah, I was not. I'm not. I was 7.
Yeah. Oh my God, 15 years.
That's crazy. So that's why we thought it was like a perfect. Like we were like, this has to be the date because when we talked 2 weeks ago, really, it was 2 weeks ago, and we were like, well, when should we do this? Should we like air in October? And you were like, I think the 15-year anniversary is in October. And I was like, what day is it? Like, let us. So you went and searched it up, and it was like October 5th. So that we were like, that's perfect. That's like the perfect time to air our pilot.
Uh, it's perfect. Wow. I can't wait to see what like all of like what Fickle Fish Films and the Twilight Instagram page and Twitter. I wonder what they're gonna do to celebrate.
I wonder what they're gonna do too. I think that I hope that for the 15-year anniversary, Stephanie gives us. I mean, she's already given us like a little hint as to what the next books will be, and I don't want to fully get into that all the way yet because that's like a whole another episode. But I really hope that she kind of like drops some like clues or something.
I mean, yeah, she's definitely been because Stephanie is definitely that person who she's not gonna like tell anything, especially like with the release of Life and Death. Because I saw an interview um from 2015 recently of her talking about Life and Death, and she just dropped Life and Death out of the blue for the 10th anniversary, and she didn't tell nobody. And so I wonder if she's gonna do the same for the 15th.
And I remember reading somewhere that Stephanie had said that she's the kind of person who knows this. She has the story, like she knows the story. So really, all she needs to do is write it, you know. So I wonder. I wonder if how her writing process is in that case. Like, since if she already like had the story like in her head, like what is she? Because I'm the type of person who needs to write everything down, like a rough draft or something.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I wonder cuz she also I saw something that like she likes to write in the mornings. Like the mornings is where she tends to like do her most writing and where she gets a lot of her inspiration. And that's why Midnight Sun, I guess like the announcement for Midnight Sun was that early in the morning was because she is a morning person.
Oh, that makes sense because it was pretty early. It was it really early. What time was it released at your time?
It was so the countdown ended and crashed at around 8:30 Eastern time.
Okay, so it was like 6:30 my time.
Yeah, and it would have been
30, something like that.
because she's in Arizona. And I think also that's where she had said like when she first wrote Twilight, she because you know it was her kids were very young and she woke up very early in the mornings, and so when she first wrote Twilight, it was at like 5, 6 in the morning because because as soon as she woke up and had that dream, she had to write it down, which I can understand because sometimes when I have dreams, I'm like, ooh, I gotta write this down so I can remember it.
Dream journals. It's when you
Dream
keep.
journals, I love it.
Okay, so when did you feel? Because I know you said that the Tumblr thing is when you really felt like the Renaissance was taking off. So I think it's really interesting that you felt the Renaissance happening like on the like back like a year ago on Tumblr, and then I think that the TikTok kind of side of the Renaissance is like has even I think it's turned the fandom into this weird like fetishizing.
It really has because the like I first started seeing like the Tumblr Renaissance. I think it was 2017, 18 is when like it started kind of. It was very low key, not a lot of oh god, my moonstone ring. Um bear. Um it was very low key. It was just memes. It was just like memes, blurbs, headcanons, and then I like because I was like seen and I would send, but then it really like started getting more popular and I saw way more blogs and a lot of it all the time on Tumblr around end of 2018 to 2019, and that's in summer of 2019 is when like I started actually posting on there a lot. And there's already like there wasn't a lot, but there was a bunch of Instagram and Twitters that were Twilight, but they weren't like big yet. But then so like the Renaissance was very low key, and then when quarantine happened this year, it was just everywhere. And then of course with TikTok, and I think also it's really cool to see with TikTok because it's definitely a different environment between how the Twilight Renaissance was on Tumblr to how it is here because it's like it's so fun seeing how creative people can get like with an audio and make like a whole sketch. Because on Tumblr, you can make memes, you can make edits, you can make collages, you can make like headcanon blurbs and imagines, but it just and also then as soon as Midnight Sun was released, it just exploded.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. I feel like after Midnight Sun had released I feel like if we're talking like a roller coaster, right? all this was leading up, and I feel like Midnight Sun was like the accelerator to it, like the release of it. And then, but I was actually gonna ask, what do you think? What point in the Renaissance do you think we're at? Like, because we're at the point already where people are fetishizing characters like Charlie Swan, and that comfortable. I mean, I simp for Charlie every single day, but I don't want to realize that.
Yeah, so okay. It was already kind of like that on Tumblr, fetishizing kind of and like simping to the max. It was like that on Tumblr. I'm not gonna lie. I was with Dimitri because and my Volturi babes love him. And but the way I think the Renaissance now, especially with TikTok and with I think we're at like a max point right now because we were trending on Twitter. Like Stephanie Meyer was trending, Twilight was trending, and Midnight Sun was trending all at the same time during the release of Midnight Sun. We were on Good Morning America. It was like on every like big news station. I definitely especially with the wave of new like fans. That's another thing. I think it's also a different environment, especially from years ago, because you have people who, you know, are in middle school and high school now who are just discovering Twilight. Maybe like their mom or like their older sister or brother were into it, and now they're into it. And, you know, technology, social media, it's different.
So it's so interesting to see the fandom from back then to the fandom now. And I know that's one of the topics that we wanted to discuss, but I guess if we lightly touch on that, it's like there are like I guess our version when we like growing up, because we're still kind of like in the young portion of the fandom, but every like the people who were like teenagers then kind of had this different fandom happening than they do now, because I feel like right now it's more like meme driven. It's very, which is like funny, it's like amazing, I love it so much. But I know there's like this one TikTok account and they just get like funny videos, like I can't even describe it, but they just get a funny video and then they like caption it like Bella when Edward blah 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 or something, and they're the funniest videos. But I think it's so interesting that that is like the fandom now. It's these like meme driven content.
Yeah, it's meme driven, and it's also the fandom now, especially like our kind of area, because it's like we were babies
Yeah.
15 years ago, 15, 10 years ago, and now we grew up with technology, the world of meme culture and all that. We're also like that type of fandom where we, you know, change original canon to fit like certain things. And
Yeah.
I think, and so that's another with the meme, it's like also with the switching up the canon a bit.
Yeah, because I think well, because we're Gen Z technically, right? But we're kind of like what they call like I like to see myself as the millennial because
Oh,
I
yeah.
I see myself with both. So so that's where I think like I can relate to the older generation of the Twilight fans, but then I can also like see myself with the newer generation growing up. And it's so funny because my students know about my TikTok and whatnot. And then I remember, I don't even know what happened, but um, I think I had like, they were working independently and I had like my phone, my mic was on and I was like playing a TikTok. And then one of my students unmuted himself and goes, Miss, I just wanted to let you know, my mom follows you on TikTok. She really likes Twilight. Oh.
I love that.
So that's why it's so interesting because we can relate to the moms and the and the sisters, but then also the newer.
And like that's another thing is how like with relate, and also with like how you mentioned that his mom follows you, the fact that we're kind of known in the fandom of liking Twilight is just so, I can't even describe. Like it makes me laugh when I think about it, because I'm like, I'm literally known for my love of Twilight in this fandom, like because I can't stop talking about it.
Really excited to go to because I've been noticed in public once, kind of like two times, but the other one was not like very a good experience. I don't even want to get into it, but I've been noticed one time in a very positive way, and it was like really funny. And then but then I'm really excited to see whenever we go to Forks next year, how that like little dynamic is going to be, because it's going to be a group of us Twi talkers,
Yeah.
right? And I think that most of us are pretty known in the Twi talker community, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes.
Like Mayor Jazz, Kenzie, and I, we were invited to the Ladies About Esme live stream for the fan gathering virtual event during the what would have been the Forever Twilight and Force event, and we had gotten invited for the social media panel to talk about like our experiences in the fandom and how we have been involved with the fandom through social media. And also we got invited to also do the like tag-alongs with the commentary, like we watch the movies and we do commentary. And I had gotten recognized on there. Someone had recognized me. They're like, oh my God, I recognize that girl from TikTok. But there were 4 other TikTokers in there. So I was all like, I was like, it's probably Mare, because Mare's video was like, you know, her most recent video had like exploded with her reading Twilight and Midnight Sun at the same time, and so it was in the comment section that someone said, I was like, I know that girl from TikTok. Hey, girl, I love your account. And then they didn't say who they were talking about, and then so we were all playfully saying to each other like, no, it's you they're talking about, and then the girl had said no, I recognize Ree. I recognize that blue hair anywhere. And I was like, oh my God, the fact that my hair is what is the reason.
Speaking of your blue hair, I kind of matched my background to match your hair.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, I'm now noticing it. That looks so cool.
Yeah, so this is my permanent background, I guess you can say. I do want to add like a little like board here. If you guys are wondering what we're talking about, you should totally go check out our YouTube channel, which I guess kind of leads me to my segment of this podcast. We each have our own segments, and mine is called Raven's Recommendations, where I recommend anything to you guys that I think that you guys would enjoy. And I think that this week, my recommendation is going to be a shameless plug to go follow our Instagram and check out our podcast on Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, everything.
We're in the process of working on getting onto Apple Podcasts.
Yes, we have to kind of be a little bit more established in that sense for Apple Podcast. But we're also going to be on Anchor, because our podcast will also get uploaded to Anchor. Just go to our Instagram, in our bio, there's a flow page that Reese so kindly set up, and it looks so good. And if you go in there, it'll have all of the links to everything, and even links to our social medias, like our TikToks, our Twitters, our Instagrams. So go and check that out. That is my recommendation for this week.
I love it. Yes. I'm so
Okay.
excited to see your next recommendations.
I don't know what it's going to be. I was like, should it be food? You guys let me know what you guys want to want me to recommend, and what like genre, and I'll totally go for that.
You can make one day you can make mushroom ravioli for dinner and then tell us what you think.
I would, but I hate mushroom. Does that me?
I understand. I'm not a big mushroom fan either. But I want to try mushroom ravioli, but I don't like mushrooms.
Try mushroom ravioli. That's like totally on my bucket list, right? But it's just, I don't like mushrooms. I don't like the texture of it. I think that's it. I don't think it's the taste, because they don't really taste like anything, but it's the texture that bothers me.
Sure. I lather it in like garlic, salt, and pepper whenever I do like mushrooms whenever I make like egg Florentine. So it's like spinach, sauteed mushrooms with garlic powder and pepper, and then I add an egg and like scramble it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good with toast, and that's the only time I really ever eat mushrooms.
Hidden, I'll be okay, you know?
Yeah.
We'll have to see about the mushroom ravioli. Okay, so I guess we'll get into our next topic, which is quite a big one. This is a big topic, but I feel like we should get this right off the bat for the first episode, so everyone can be clear of our stance on this topic. Is the Team Edward, Team Jacob?
Would you like to go first or me?
You can go first.
Okay, everyone, I am Team Edward. I am Team Edward. Now, honestly, if we're going away from Team Edward Jacob, I'm Team Alice. But between those two, I am Team Edward. Jacob, I like him in Twilight and New Moon. Love the friendship between him and Bella, but once it hits Eclipse, no. Edward, 100%.
Yeah, I am Team Jacob. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God, I literally was not expecting that.
On everyone. I was lying this whole time. No, I am 100% Team Edward. Like Ree, I like Jacob in Twilight and part of New Moon. I think like after he cuts his hair, I'm like, I don't like it. So I like him in Twilight and New Moon, part of it. But then I can kind of, there's a lot to unpack here, right? We're not even gonna get into the Jacob and Nessie part of this, because that's like a whole nother thing. If we're talking about that's like, that will take us like probably 2 hours, and we're not gonna get into that yet. But if we're talking between the little love triangle that they had going on up until Eclipse, right? Like the end of Eclipse, I think that there was moments that he got the short end of the stick, but that does not excuse his actions that he took in certain parts of the books and movies.
Yeah.
So that is what that my dad is Team Jacob, which is I hate it. I low-key think that he does it to get under my skin. Like he's like, I'm Team Jacob, and he does it so because he knows I'll get mad. But there's things that I wish that I feel like in the entire saga, Jacob did get the short end of the stick in a way, but that still does not sway me enough to be Team Jacob.
Yeah. My brother also, so my brother is an interesting case. My brother was someone who, he was on the Twilight hate train, back in the day when I was, first getting into it, when it was first being released. But then, and he had never really cared for getting into it. And then when the countdown happened, you know how Freeform was doing all of their marathons because and like Stephanie Meyer's team had reached out to a lot of the television companies and the Twilight like popular blogs to promote it. So they were doing a oops, sorry, my washer. They were doing a marathon, and my brother, my mom, and I had went up to my grandma's house because I live in South Carolina. They live in North Carolina, and I was like talking about this countdown nonstop. I was in the middle of finals week. Here I am trying to do my finals, and I'm trying to watch Twilight, and my brother was watching them with me, like, because I would just keep them on and he would watch them with me. And first of all, he was like, wow, that baseball scene is really good. I was like, right, I know, right? And then he really likes Emmett. My brother is Emmett's #1 fan. And
that's what I was gonna say. Besides, I forgot because you said besides like the Team Edward, Team Jacob, you're Team Alice. So I think would be Team Emmett because I think I have a soft spot for Emmett.
oh God, love him and his eggs. And so my brother, we were watching Twilight, and it wasn't until Breaking Dawn. Like at first, when I was watching the first 3, he wasn't really paying attention as much. But then when Breaking Dawn Part 1 came on, it was like, I don't know what happened, but I was out on the porch with my mom and my aunt talking, and I see my brother come in and sit in the chair, and he's literally watching the screen, like intense. I come inside, and he's like, wow, this is such a great movie. Why didn't you tell me about this? And I was like, I talk about this series every day. And then he was Team Jacob until like what happened with Eclipse and Breaking Dawn. He like how Jacob was reacting toward Bella in like the first part of Breaking Dawn Part 1. AJ was like, man, not this. Team Edward all the way. Like that's where it's at. I understand now. And the thing that was making me kind of annoyed, but it was hilarious, is every time Taylor Lautner was on screen, my brother was playing the dream song from Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Okay, that's an iconic song. Okay, love Taylor. I love Taylor Lautner. I think that maybe after the whole Twilight thing, he was one of the ones that kind of like took off a little bit. But I really never liked any of his movies except for like Shark Boy and Lava Girl and Twilight.
I remember when I first saw Twilight, I was like, wait a minute, that's the kid from Shark Boy and Lava Girl. And isn't that also the dude from Cheaper by the Dozen too? Because he was in Cheaper by the Dozen too. He was like Allison Stoner's, I think, like love interest. He did the whole arm around at the movie theaters.
Okay, you want to know something super crazy? I was in the summer. I was like babysitting. I was like taking up babysitting or during quarantine because I was like super bored and I was like I need something to do. So I was babysitting and the lady I was babysitting for had like her older sister was there, but she's probably like a teenager and she liked Twilight. And one day her and I were watching Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and they were only filmed within like a year apart from each other.
I got a comment like that because I was I think it was that video. I had posted a video of my brother like playing the dream song and dancing while we were watching Breaking Dawn, and someone had commented that. I was like, for real? Like
That's so weird because I feel like in that movie he looks so tiny and And then just the drastic change from Shark Boy and Lava Girl to that. And then his drastic change from Twilight to New Moon was even like huge.
Like when I go back, when I watch the series and I see after I watch it, I compare him in Twilight to the final in Breaking Dawn. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Know that he was only like 20, like 19 or 20 during Breaking Dawn. I was like, what?
Yeah, because I think when he was a in the first movie, Jacob was supposed to be like what, 15, 16?
Yeah, I think there's like one part where Bella is like, "How old are you?" Like this, and he's like, "I'm actually this." And I think he said that he had just turned, I think, 16.
Yeah. So I think Taylor Lautner was also around that age when
Yeah.
when he was playing Jacob. So I think that that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think he was born in 92 cuz I know Kristen is born in 90 cuz she was when they filmed the birthday scene in when they filmed Bella's 18th birthday in New Moon, Kristen was also had just turned 18. Like and so yeah, I think Taylor was born in 92.
Yeah, I think it's super cool how in the movies pretty much like everyone was close to their character's age. At least for Bella and Jacob they were. I think that that was super cool.
Yeah, I think the only one who wasn't like the only ones of the Cullens who weren't close to their age were Carlisle and I think that was it. Or like Emmett. I know Nikki and Ashley were about 18, 19. I think also. They were pretty young.
Yeah, I mean if we're talking movie that happened 15, the movie came out in 2008, right?
Yeah, they filmed in 2007 and then in 2008 it was released. So I think Nikki cuz Nikki was like she knows Catherine Hardwicke. They've known each other since Nikki was young and I think Nikki was 19 when she filmed in Twilight.
And I think also I read somewhere that Nikki and Kristen had actually known each other because they worked on a movie together before that. So I think that's super cool that they had that connection.
Same with I think Ashley and Kellen. I think Ashley and Kellen also did a movie together.
I remember seeing that. I remember seeing clips and they look like babies.
And I remember Jackson from Criminal Minds because I was a big Criminal Minds fan and he was on an episode of Criminal Minds. It's one of
Yeah,
my favorite episodes too.
I think I never, maybe we can like talk about this in another episode, just like the actors' previous works before
Twilight.
their big gig, right? Because that's like a huge thing is like everyone expected all of these people to be stars afterward. But I mean they all are stars, but we can talk about the the little disappointments, I guess you can say.
Yeah, who's the only one who I can think of who really like did make it big and mainstream afterward, besides like Kristen and Rob, is Anna Kendrick because Pitch Perfect.
Huh. And also low key because everyone's always like, we forgot that she was in Twilight.
Yeah, and she was, I think, a Broadway star actually before. Like I read somewhere that Anna had been already in the industry, but she was like, I think, a Broadway star.
I love that for her though, because I think that not that Jessica's an underrated character, because I don't think she's a very liked character,
Yeah,
but that's how it's like it's supposed to be. But she really like no one would have expected for like a side character, whatever, to be like the one to blow up, you know?
yeah, and I'm so excited. I think her name is Christian, who played Angela.
Mm-hmm.
He is gonna be playing. She's gonna be portraying Selena in the Selena biopic on Netflix.
You're kidding. That's amazing.
Is I saw on Instagram when Netflix had released that they were doing a Selena biopic. I saw her and I saw who was tagged. I was like, wait a minute, I recognize that name. And then I went to the profile. I was like, oh my god, that's Angela from Twilight.
And then she was also pretty big on The Walking Dead.
Yes. Same with Maggie Grace, who played Urena.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I was like into The Walking Dead like in the beginning, and then I totally like lost it. My dad's like a huge fan of The Walking Dead.
oh my god. And like so I watched the Vampire Diaries and Charlie Bewley, who played Dimitri, was in I believe season 4 or 5 of Vampire Diaries, and when he came up, I was like, oh my god, Dimitri, because he's like, my favorite. I was like, oh, I did not. I was like, my two worlds are colliding right now.
But okay, I posted a TikTok. It was just supposed to be fun, right? Like it was nothing serious. I've had it in my drafts for like since March because I have like over 80 drafts in
Felt that.
my pile on audios and all this stuff, right? Well, I had this video where it was like this audio of the guy and he was like, "This bitch walked. She strutted that runway, mama, so that Peppa could run." Right? It's such a funny audio. And I did that with Bella, that Bella walked, and then Elena, so that Elena could run. And people came for me. I lost tons of followers because of that.
I saw that. I think I went into the comments on that, and I saw all people were like, Vampire Diaries, this, that, and the other. And I was like, and then other people were like, Twilight, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, guys, it's a joke.
I talked to my husband about this the other day because he had never seen Interview with the Vampire.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he had never seen it before.
Oh my god.
So he watched it, right? And then we started talking about other vampire movies like Blade and all this stuff, right? Um, love vampires. I'm like, not only do I just like Twilight, I think I just like really like vampires in general. So I love all vampire movies or TV shows or anything like that.
And
But
that brings us to our bio, which our bio is here to divulge in all things fantasy. So you guys can look forward to us diving into the whole world of fantasy. And we may even just have an episode on strictly vampires.
yeah, because I feel like obviously we're gonna talk about Twilight a lot. That's kind of what this like started it. So it'd be kind of like unfair to you guys to like tease you about Twilight and then never talk about it. So we are gonna talk about Twilight a lot, but we also want to talk about other things. We don't want to keep it like strictly Twilight. We'll probably dive into Harry Potter here and there, all this other stuff. But
Yeah.
going back to what I was saying, is my husband was talking about how I told him about the video, how people like hated me for that video. They were like unfollowing me, whatever. But really, I think that even though Vampire Diaries was the book was made before Twilight,
Yeah.
Twilight made vampires mainstream. And then my husband was like, no, because he was like listing all these movies. And I was like, no, listen. I feel like the Blade and the Resident Evil and all that stuff, like all those movies with vampires, it was kind of taboo in a way.
It really was. And I mean, I took a class my sophomore year. I took this intercultural studies class. And my like the way my school was with this class was each semester it was something different. So you would take this topic and then you would dive into it within every like all the how it is in every culture. And I happened to take the semester where it was vampires. And so we talked about different, how vampires were portrayed in different cultures and in the media. And even in that class, we talked about how, yeah, there were all these other vampire movies beforehand, which I read and I had to watch a lot. But Twilight was the one that, like, did kind of get a lot of things popular. That and True Blood. Because
Yeah.
True Blood was also at the time that Twilight was being made. That
Yeah.
was the popular show, not the Vampire Diaries. The True Blood was the one that was popular.
True Blood is still a little bit too much for me. I've seen it, but it's like it's out there. But yeah, I was telling him that like Twilight made vampires mainstream because if you think about it, they had these like Twilight has these like they're different vampires, right? Like they're different than the other ones. And I feel like every kind of universe vampire is different, right? But they made them more human, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of like related to people like they're not these like well they are these like magical creatures, right? But they're not like these evil creatures like in like Interview with a Vampire, how they're just like out there like killing people and being hunted and all this stuff, right? So I think that was a good thing that Twilight did. It kind of made vampires more mainstream, and that's why I think people were coming for my neck because they're like, oh, like the Vampire Diaries, blah blah blah. But I really do feel like if Twilight wasn't made, I don't think that Vampire Diaries would have had a TV show.
Yeah, and because it was a lot of as you said, the books were written before Twilight, the like Vampire Diaries books, but the Twilight movie came out like the movies were coming out right before. And I definitely also think, because I know a lot of people didn't know about, like, they didn't watch Vampire Diaries until after they saw Twilight. They may like Vampire Diaries more, but it was Twilight that made them want to look more into other like movies, TV shows with vampires.
Yeah. So I think we should talk about our next little topic here is the favorite scenes in the books of Twilight and the movies. Because um because I have a couple. I have a couple at least for the first book, and then my favorite scenes in the movies. So we can go talk about that a little bit. So my favorite scene in the book of all time is the blood type scene. I love that scene.
Oh my gosh.
Just, I really wish that they added it into the movie because I think we could have seen Edward in a different light, like his more of like wanting to protect her like all the time.
Yeah.
I think we would have seen that more. And also, I wish in the books I really love all the scenes where Edward and Bella are just sitting at the table by themselves talking.
Yeah, that was gonna be my pick. Was I agree with blood type. Honestly, 10 out of 10. We should have gotten that scene. I really wish we got the I really wish we got the cafeteria scenes of them at the table. I wanted to see the scene where, like, he gestures for her to come over, and then Jessica is like, "Does he mean you?" I was like, "Oh my god!"
I think that would have been so iconic. Like that would have, you already know that if they added that if Robert Pattinson, if they added that of Robert Pattinson going, eh,
Like, honestly, everyone it'd be done. So this ovaries done, everything. Like, oh,
that would have been like the tipping point.
that. And I wanted to see I kind of wish we got the scene. Their first kiss was after Bella had like ran on his back, and she was so like, she was feeling ill, and he goes, I kind of want to, he looks so nervous, and he's like, I kind of want to try something. And then like we kind of got it, it was changed, but I really loved it after the meadow.
I really wish that they added more to the meadow scene. Um, I really I there's so many things in the book that I wish that they added. Like I I really wish that they added the whole part of her like wanting to go to Seattle and him being like, I'll take you, and then her being like, oh, okay, that's fine, and then them just deciding not to go.
The scene where he cuts her off in the parking lot and she's thinking about running into the car, that was, I laughed so much. That's honestly, gosh, because then Tyler comes up, and I wish we got that.
I think that book Edward, hits a little different than movie Edward. I love movie Edward, but book Edward is so funny.
He really is. He smiles way more. He laughs. He jokes. He bickers. Especially in Midnight Sun, which, if you guys haven't read Midnight Sun, go do it, because the moments with him and Emmett.
Hmm.
That's another scene. I also really wish kind of we got was speak like of the Cullens. I wish we got the full prom scene from the epilogue where the Cullens are on the dance floor and we see Rosalie's beautiful red dress, and how everybody's fearing going on the dance floor because they're like owning it.
Yeah, and I wish they, because Jacob does show up at the prom, but what they didn't put in from the book to the movie is when he asked Bella to dance. I think
And
because
he goes, "You look really pretty," and I'm like,
I think that they kind of in the movies they downplayed how much that Jacob liked her a little bit because like at least for the first book, right? At least for the first movie, they like he wasn't like really like a central part. It was just like he showed up like what are like a couple times in the movie. And
yeah,
in the book, I feel like it really showed um like why he liked Bella because she kind of like played with him a little bit at the beach.
yeah, she was like, they had such a like a natural friendship that they could like, it was just easy to talk to each other.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think so. And then I think that was just so cute in the prom and he was like, "Can I dance?" Like he asked her to dance, and then they had their conversation while dancing. I think that would have been cute. Or what could have been really super cool they if he asked her to dance while out when she was outside. Like he was like, "Oh, can I have this dance or something?" That would have been so cute
so
because Edward would have came back like excuse me, right?
My girl.
Exactly. And I think that because even then Edward did come back very like, "No, I got it from here, right?" But I think it just would have added to like the fuel to the fire and give us more of like this like climbing mountain instead of going from like 0 to 100 like super quick.
Yeah. So what's your favorite from the movie?
Oh, like all of the movies. Okay.
Or like just what's your favorite part from the Twilight movie? We'll
Okay.
go in
Um,
order.
my favorite scene from the Twilight movie. Okay, I think the part after they have like made it official and he like picks her up in his car and the first time they're seen out and Angela's there with her camera and she turns, she goes, "Oh my God."
And then Spotlight immediately starts playing in the background.
And then she's like, "Everyone's staring." And he goes, "Not everyone, he's not. Never mind, he just looked." I love that one. Or the lion fell in love with the lamb. That scene. I really like that, like just that little part because I feel like it's really intimate and like cute and I love that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
What about you in the movie?
Sorry, I got distracted because my brother's trying to FaceTime me, but I'll bring him back. I have two. So first is the baseball scene. Especially with Alice with that leg kick. Oh my god, iconic. And then the second one is okay. So although I kind of wish that because the greenhouse field trip didn't happen in the book, and although I kind of wish maybe we could have gotten Alice's backstory instead of that, I did like the one part in that scene a lot where Edward's, listening in, and then he goes, "What's in Jacksonville?" And she's like, "How do you?" He's like, "How do you know about that?" And he's like, "You didn't answer my question." And she's like, "Well, you don't even answer any of mine. Plus, you don't even say hi." And then he's like, "Hi." And it was so funny. I don't know why. I love that whole like interaction because I'm like, okay, this is what I wanted more. Were these little playful interactions that I don't think the movie really got all of them.
Hmm.
So
You know what I also wish that they added from the book to the movie? The part where it shows them at the hotel and like Alice, Jasper, and Bella, because there was like way more to that in the book than the movie. Obviously, they have to like cut things down because of like
yeah, budget, time, because I really wish we got the part with her reaction when she sees her mom's like house, the sketch, and then Alice like runs to the phone, and that would have been so intense.
it would have been really intense. And I wonder also um what there was a part in my head and I totally forgot what they act like what it was part in the movie. No, it was in the book. Oh, the full hospital scene.
Oh my god, yes.
I think I was just like so like they had this like little flirty banter in a way. She was all pissed at him, and then he was like, "What's going on?" I really wish we got like the entire hospital scene.
Oh my gosh, yes. So many good moments.
So many good. And I think with that we can kind of segue a little bit into your segment and then the closing. Oh no.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Ree's Weekly Read. I'm Ree, your host for this segment. So this segment basically what it entails is if you follow me on TikTok, then you might know that I like books. I like reading. I recently, especially with quarantine, have gotten really back into reading and bought a lot of books. Recently acquired the entire Twilight saga minus Bree Tanner, which I need to get. But I've also, divulged in other sagas and series that I hadn't read before that, or have been rereading series. So with that, the book I have, and if you are listening in on Spotify, SoundCloud, or Anchor, if you head on over to the YouTube channel, you can see what I'm holding up. I'm holding up this book, and it's called Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick. And this, even though we've been talking about vampires all this episode, this is about angels. So fallen angels, and the Hush Hush saga, if you've heard of it, there's 4 in the saga. I have the first one with me. I'm in the middle of reading the third one, Silence, which I started right. I started it shortly after Midnight Sun, but I still have to finish it. But the reason why I'm showing the first book is because it was announced, I believe in August, that Hush Hush will be getting a movie. So they are in production, and so if you guys haven't checked it out and are interested, I read this book in like one day. I was very surprised how easy of a page turner it was, and I definitely I'm not gonna give it a 10 out of 10 because that I feel like certain books deserve that, but I'm gonna give this like a 8.5 out of 10 because it was very good and kept me invested, wanting to know what happened, and I am a sucker for Patch. But it's about fallen angels. It's like a sacred oath, a fallen angel, a forbidden love. So take what you want with that. It's very, you know, kind of steamy, juicy, because yeah. So there's 4 in the saga, so definitely I would check it out, especially if you're interested in seeing the movie, which I'm excited for.
I love that you said that it's like a page turner because I feel like, okay, so don't hate like anyone who's watching, don't judge me, but I'm not 100% done with Midnight Sun. I'm like a little bit over halfway. But the thing with it is because I feel like I read a couple chapters and then I feel like I need to take a break. I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like I just need like a pause from it for a little bit, like just to take in everything. Also because I like reading it and kind of like going back and kind of like analyzing what like the parts in Twilight, like what I'm missing, like, oh, so when this was happening here, he was off doing this. And I really like doing that. So I like that you said it's a page turner. I'm probably gonna go to Barnes and Nobles and get it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's definitely like it's about just under what Twilight was. It's about 380 something pages because I think Twilight was like 400 something. But yeah, it's very interesting because it's like especially going in from vampires to fallen angels. It was there's no love. There's not really a love triangle, but it's still kind of like there's like a I can't. It's not a love triangle, but there's like it's weird. So
It's a situation ship.
yes, and one of my favorite characters is the best friend V. She's so funny. Like the main character's name is Nora. She's the main protagonist, and then Patch is like this mysterious boy who just transferred to the school, and then V is her best friend and is kind of the comedic relief, and it's very interesting. It definitely has some plot twists. Like when I got to the end of it, I was like, oh my god.
Love that. Okay. Well, I guess that wraps up our first episode. Also, I want to say before we go, we're matching.
We are. Oh my gosh. Yes. We're both wearing black and white, basically.
Check it out on YouTube, see how we're matching. So tune in 2 weeks on October the 19th for our Halloween special. We are both dressing up. We're going to do some pumpkin carving. So if you want to listen in, that's totally cool. You can just listen in and hear our shenanigans there. But if you want to see what our costumes are and see our final results for our pumpkin carving, you can go check out our YouTube, The Bite Podcast with Raven and Ree. If you're having trouble finding the YouTube, you can always go to our Instagram at the Bite Podcast RR and go to our flow page. Everything will be on there. I'm so excited.
I was like, wow. Oh my god. We did it.
Right, bye, guys.
Guys, thanks for tuning in.